Hello everyone, Bill here again. This video is going to be on the Holy Trinity. Now I'm going to do something a little different than what most Trinity believing Bible Christians do. I'm not going to make this too long, and I'm really going to sock you, the listener here, with a lot of Bible verses. So thank God that you can replay this over and over again so you can get all the verses. I want to start off with that I did not read a book by a recent author to get these Bible verses. What I have done is I have read the Bible from cover to cover, every book, every chapter, every verse, from cover to cover over 10 times. Now I'll touch on that in another video. And I have found these verses on my own, and I wasn't even looking for them. So with all that said, I'm just going to go right into it. The mental picture I want you to put in your head is I want you to imagine like a piece of paper with two columns separated by a line, one side being God, one side being Jesus, and that's how I'm going to work this. Alright, now, if you look in the book of Isaiah, Isaiah 45, chapter, or verse 23, Isaiah 45:23, it says, every tongue will confess and every knee will bow to God. And it says that in Isaiah. But now if you go over to Philippians 2:10-11, it says that every knee will bow and every tongue confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. Okay? So why would they do that to Jesus and to God at the same time, or are they the same person? Okay? The next one, I got a couple of verses here. In Deuteronomy 10:17 and in Psalms 136, 1-3, it declares that God is the Lord of Lords. It says that very clearly. God is the Lord of Lords. Okay? But if you go over to the book of Revelation, in Revelation 17:14, it says that Jesus is the Lord of Lords and the King of Kings. Okay, this next one. If you go to Psalms 75:7, Ecclesiastes 3:17, and Hebrews 12:23, it says that God will be the judge of all. God will be the judge of all. But if you go over to Matthew 7:21-23, and 2 Corinthians 5:10, it says that Jesus will be the judge of all. Are they one and the same? Take a look at it. Okay, this next one, now this one's kind of neat. I like this next one. Both by the same author. First, if you go to 1 John 1:5, it declares that God is the light of the world. But if you go over to the Gospel of John 8:12, it declares that Jesus is the light of the world. And please note, this is by the same guy. Now, this next one, I want you to really pay attention. In 2 Corinthians 1:9, it says that God will raise the dead in the end of days. But if you look at, now you have to read this next one very slowly. In the Gospel of John, chapter 6, verse 40, it says that Jesus will raise the dead. Now, I want you to read that verse very slowly, because it says, and I will raise them up in the last days. Okay. Now this next one, there's a lot of verses here. Okay, this next one declares who is the Savior of the world. 1 Timothy 4:10, Titus 1:3 declares that God is the Savior of the world. But now if you go over to 1 John 4:14, Titus 1:4, and the Gospel of John 4:42, it says that Jesus is the Savior of the world. Are they one and the same? I think so. Take a look at it. Now, there are many other verses that I could pull out and draw out, but the verses I gave you are for any and all translations. 99% of all translations will declare the same things I just gave to you. So if you're out there and you're wondering, is there a Holy Trinity, is there not a Holy Trinity, look up the verses I just gave you and take a look. It doesn't matter what translation you have, unless you have a really odd translation. Okay, it'll pretty much declare Jesus and God are one and the same.